Hi, this is Lynn Forrest. I'm out in South Newfane, Vermont, and I'd like to introduce to you Joan Rose Staffen, sorry. She's an author, an artist, a psychic healer, and an intuitive coach, and dedicated to assisting people to heal their lives. I put up a file for you all to download while I'm continuing with the introduction, if you would do that. Um, this is from Joan you can use this during the session and print it if you have the time. On Joan's website, you can learn about her spiritual books. She has many. View her abstract paintings and contact her for information about workshops and intuitive coaching. Um, Joan Rose has written a number of books, including Swimming the Inner Ocean, which uses memoir, story, and angelic thoughts and serves as a passage from one world to the other, the visible to the invisible, and back again. Her newest book, The Book of Pendulum Healing, Charting Your Healing Course for Mind, Body, and Spirit, is available. And with that, I will turn it over to Joan.
Well, Lynn and everybody else, I'm so excited to be speaking at this wonderful conference. It's so exciting. I have two support people with me. I have Happy, Happy, and I have Rika. And so if you have any questions or ideas that you want to share, you can do that on chat and they'll help you. And again, I just want to say we were all excited because we're in California and I know everyone's from around the United States. And of course, the people who originally put this together are from Vermont. I have just a little bit about me. I have been using a pendulum for about 20 years now. I was going through probably the most difficult time in my whole life. And I ended up, I went to therapy and I talked to teachers, and of course I went to church, and I met a woman there, Shakti Wilson, who taught spiritual response therapy and how to use the pendulum. And it's a deep system that uses clearing and healing. And it works not only on the psychic senses, but spiritual and emotional. And so I did healing through that system. Do you want to hand me that book, The Freedom Path? And so that was through Robert Detzler, The Freedom Path. And so that's where I had my training. And when I was doing my training, what was so amazing was as I did it, I became more psychic and more intuitive. At the time, it sounds kind of crazy, but I was also running a business, a high-tech marketing business. So I had very professional clients. I work for Apple and Oracle and Novell. And so I created I created 25 charts and created a book called Divination and Action, which has a lot of my business experience in there. And then as a publisher suggested I do one about life. So I did Divination and Joy. And then the last book is the Book of Pendulum Healing. And in all three of these books, you'll find chart systems that can assist you in both learning how to use a pendulum, but then it can give you very specific answers about the pendulum. What's exciting today is that we'll be learning about the intuitive clearing charts. And these charts are not all. A few of them are in a book, but this is kind of an original publication I created for this talk and other talks, because I feel like clearing is so important for dowsing and for healing. All of us have been inside, for like a year and a half. And so some of us, of course, cleaned our houses, but it's always so important too to clean the energy in our houses and to clean our own interior states, and then to also clear outside of our houses. So, one of the things that I learned in this last year when I was researching clearing was that sometimes if you live across from a cemetery, the energy can be a little bit dead.
Oh,
So it makes me laugh. Of course it can be. So I cleared that. The clearing signal that we're going to learn today is very simple to learn, so that everyone who's here should be able to learn how to do this. And then with the charts, you will discover, where you actually need clearing and what things can be cleared. And what I love so much about clearing is, and especially with the pendulum, and there are other ways to clear our bodies and houses and land, of course, and we'll talk about that at the end of the meeting. But what's so great is that you're really, when you clear, you are taking yourself to a higher vibration. And it's just a natural way to get to that higher vibration. And when you're at a higher vibration, life just works a lot easier. Things are more synchronistic. You can be more intuitive. You're not necessarily bogged down by the past. Your place can just feel, your body and your place can just feel happy and energetic. So that's what I love about clearing. I was introduced to it through the spiritual response therapy, and that's the signals I use in this that I'm training today by. There are other signals that you can use with your pendulum for clearing, but this is the one we're going to use today. So if you have a different signal, don't worry about that. But before we begin, what I would like to do is I'd like to have a clearing healing meditation, and so that we can all ground, clear, and then we'll just feel more energized, and it'll be very easy to use the pendulum with the charts. So how are do we have any questions so far, Rika?
No, so far we're good. We're just trying to get the file reposted so everyone has the.
Okay. So
and we will post the charts while you're speaking. I think that will help for the people who can't download.
right,
Perfect.
right. So we'll have a visual of that once we get into actually talking about them. So any rate, just welcome everybody. We're so excited you're here. And if you feel comfortable, please go ahead and put your feet on the ground. We're going to be grounding. Always good to have your feet on the ground to ground. And what's really great about grounding is that we're often running around doing various things. But if we remember to ground, we can just get centered much more easily. So just feel your feet nicely on the ground and send roots down from the bottom of your feet to the center of the earth, connecting with Divine Mother, who is really pleased that everyone is here. And we're just going to have Divine Mother's energy come up through our feet, out to our toes, ankles, legs, knees, and thighs. We can take a deep breath. And then from our first and second chakras to the center of the earth, we're sending down large tap roots, again connecting with Divine Mother, bringing up her energy up through our back, our spine, into the core of our body, into our heart and lungs, into our shoulders. We can kind of move our shoulders around. Take another breath. Send the energy down our arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers. You can take a breath. And the energy comes back up our arms, into our shoulders, neck, head, spilling over, clearing, cleansing, healing. And as the energy spills over, I'm just going to clear everyone who's in this conference. And I'm going to clear and we're going to do a mini clearing of the chakras. First chakra, base of the spine. And this is earth red normally. And we're just going to open up and ground. And then our second chakra, a few inches above in our pelvic areas for creativity and sexuality, clearing, cleansing, healing. And then the third chakra in the solar plexus in our tummy region, clearing, cleansing. And this is usually a bright yellow. And of course, then the heart. This can be anywhere from pale to forest green, clearing, cleansing, healing. And the throat chakra, beautiful blue color. In your third eye, between your eyebrows, we're opening that up, opening our intuition. And then top of our head, opening to the divine, connecting to our high self. And today, as we learn to use the pendulum, perhaps clear, and use the charts, we're just going to find it very easy and relaxing and fun. We'll have new information about ourselves, and people will be able to feel the difference when they're whole, well, and cleared. In the name and through the power, it is done now. Okay, so take a moment, take another deep breath. Give yourself a big hug. We always do this. I learned this in a West Coast dowsing conference. Give ourselves a facelift. Pick ourselves up. There we go. Take a stretch. That feels pretty good, huh? That's wonderful. Okay. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm just going to check to make sure I covered everything. Okay. So the first thing I just want to remind everyone, when you're dowsing, it's a very simple instrument, and you can really learn to use it rather easily, but it really takes practice to become a master. So that's the most important thing, is that you practice with your pendulum. When you are using your pendulum, you are connecting to higher forces. And so you have to be respectful of your dowsing work. And when you work with other people, you always have to ask permission. And this can just be as simple: do I have permission? I always use my children as an example, because they gave me permission years ago. In fact, when they're feeling a little upset or weird, or they've had a hard day, sometimes they call me and just say, "Clear me, Mom." So here's a yes signal for clearing. And then let's say I'm clearing my son right now. So I'm clearing my son, Adam, and it's going in a circular manner. And when it stops, And sometimes it takes much longer than other times, but when it stops, that means the clearing is done. Sometimes, I'll just mention, if you're clearing like a big area, like a hospital or a big building or office building where there's a lot of people, sometimes it takes a really long time. So what you have to do, what I learned to do was I just call in the angels of light and love. And I say, I'm starting the clearing and I would like you, to complete it for me, so you can call on the angels of light and love. It's really important that, especially in the beginning when you're learning to dowse, but it's always important that you're centered when using a pendulum, because it can be affected by, especially if you're overly emotional. So say, for instance, you go to the doctor and you're worried that you're being diagnosed with some, horrendous disease. That is not the time. That is not the time to use the pendulum. That is the time to call your best friend who you've already taught to dowse and ask them, how it's going to go. And I have done that when I've, of course, been worried about tests. So you want to be centered. It's good to do a meditation. It's very important to ground, connect, and all of that, to always ask permission. Okay, so I think, Lynn, we're ready to start. Did you want to put up the charts? We have a lot of ground to cover today. We perhaps won't finish reviewing all the charts, but you, of course, can do this after you learn to use one or two charts. You'll be able to use all the charts, right? And so when you can start playing with them, and then maybe some of the terms you don't understand, or you want further information, but this is called the book, A Pendulum Healing, and it has information in there about clearing, about using the pendulum, and using the pendulum with charts. So you could refer to this. You can find that at Red Wheel Wiser or online. Also, obviously, we have Google, so some of the terms, if you don't understand them, you can also just Google them, right? And that can be very helpful. You can also write me an email, things like that. All righty, so good, here we go. So this is our little packet. And then just want to go to the first page. And so this is I don't know if we can make that bigger, Lynn, or not. We want to stay on that first page just for a moment. But that's good, very good. So it has some kind of a summary of preparing yourself to center, take a breath, and ask a few questions. Am I working with my high self? And you can use this yes or no questions. And am I clear on all levels, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual? And if the answer is no, you can clear yourself, and then you'll begin to work. And then you'll be really surprised, and your pendulum will tell you you're clear. So why don't you take a moment now and just make sure you're working with your high self, and if you're clear on all levels. The other thing you can do is you can put your pendulum over the words emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. And it will get the pendulum, if you're not clear on all those levels, it will stop and circle around the word, because words have power, and you will be able to know if you are clear on all levels. And of course, after you learn to use the charts, you'll be able to do that with the charts as well, okay? And just as review, you always ask permission to work on another person. During the Bush administration, I asked if I could clear President Bush, and he said no. But I asked if I could pray for him, and he said yes. So one of the kind of nice, you can, if people don't want for you to do clearings or healings on them, you can always pray. Most of the time you can pray for them, right? And that's a good backup plan. And we know how powerful prayer is. And then after, a third important thing is, after doing your research with the charts, just remember to use your clearing signal found on chart 1 to clear whatever you found and to clear yourself. You can create affirmations and while you do this, and I have a really simple one. In the name and through the power, I ask my angels, archangels, and spirit guides to clear me, clear my house, a room, the cemetery across the street on all levels. We're flipping a page. Thank you. Mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And then I ask that the space be filled with healing energy, peace, and love. And then I give thanks, the heavenly assistance. And I also work with Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and they're both extremely powerful healers. So, and I'm sure some of you who are here today work with other healers. And then it's important after you do the work to disengage, to clear yourself, see yourself in a bubble of love and light, and to put a 10-foot wall of light around yourself from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, extending out to your fingertips. So that after you complete the process, you're protecting yourself. And I do want to say something about protection that I just read. I believe it was in a book called Clear Spirit by Joan that's coming out next year. I read that, or it was another book, but I read that really the vibration at you are at now is, if you are leading, a fairly good life, and you have love and peace in your heart, you are going to only attract that even in your spiritual journeys. So that you don't have to be afraid of negative spirits. Whenever there have been a couple times when I felt like I got a little infected, and I came home. I had visited a halfway house where a friend was. And so what I did was, when I got home, I cleared myself. And you'll know if you have some sort of spirit, like you'll just feel really off and weird. So what I do is I just clear myself. I came home. I have a beautiful cross in my room. I have a picture of an angel. I have all my kind of spiritual tools in my bedroom, and I just took a nap, and then I felt fine. And then I woke up and I asked myself if I was totally cleared, and I was. So that's just important to do. The other thing you can do is you can call your favorite dowser and ask them to clear you. And because that doesn't happen a lot, that does happen. And I used to call my teacher, Shakti Wilson, a lot when I was first learning. And so anyway, or you can write me an email and I will happily clear you. Okay, so and the last thing, happy dowsing. This is a fun process.
I'm not
Yes.
sure if Lynn is seeing my message. Can you
Yes.
ask Lynn to please post the
packet again?
The packet again, because people
Lynn,
aren't finding it.
someone has asked to have the packet posted. Again, some people aren't able to find it now. So could you repost that? That would be great. Thank you, Lynn. All right,
I
so,
have posted it 3 times,
okay.
and I sent it again to Tick, and I've asked him to post it for us. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, I
I
don't
put it
see.
in the chat room under the little arrow as a file, and so it should be opening.
Okay,
Well,
let's
let me
look.
see. I was,
Oh, go to the chat there.
let's
see if
see,
we see it.
chat.
Yeah, I saw it at the top, but then I
It's,
don't
there it
see
is
it. I
right
don't
here
see it here.
at 11:01. It was posted.
Just the
Okay.
one. Make sure it just says everyone, Lynn, because I saw you post
Okay.
it, but it's
All right.
yeah, we're not sure what's
I'm
happening.
going to
That's
do that
okay.
one more time.
Mercury
Okay.
retrograde.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
Welcome.
Big hand for Lynn.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. It should be for everyone now. Everybody should have it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay. So here we are at the first chart. And basically what you do is you put your pendulum in the middle of the chart, right at the crossing, and your pendulum can be trained to move along the yes axis. And it's so funny. Sometimes I tell people that pendulums are a little bit like dogs. You have to train them, and you have to be firm with them. So this is your yes signal, and going across, and it's just like nodding your head, yes. And then the no signal, no, just like you were saying no. And Rika, how are people doing with knowing how to do yes and no signals?
Oh, let's ask them to respond because no one so far has mentioned it.
So if you're able to do the yes and no, could you raise your hand with that little symbol? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Rika's looking at that. Once you learn the yes/no signal, of course, you won't necessarily need the chart because you'll be able to use your pendulum to ask questions about your vitamins or your crystals and about if they're good for you or not, and you'll just use the pendulum over the vitamins or crystals.
So we've got about 5 out of 32 participants who are okay with the yes, no.
Okay, so people,
a little more time.
yeah, so people are learning how to use this. So another good thing is just to write or just to ask a question that you know is a yes. So you can ask whether or not your name. So I'm just asking and saying, is my name Joan Rose Staffen? And I'm getting a yes answer. And so it will teach you that signal. Or you can do it with, I live in Santa Cruz. I have 2 people in the room with me who are so helpful. Is Lynn helpful in Vermont? Yes. It's just wonderful to be at this conference. Yes. Okay. Okay. And then, is it easy to learn dowsing? Yes. Overall, almost every single person in a class has learned how to use the pendulum. Sometimes it takes longer than other times, but we can be patient. And then what I would say, you can also practice with this in your own home. I used to practice at night in bed after I put my kids to bed when it was really quiet. And I just, so pretty much for the first, I just practiced every day. And when you practice something every day, you get very good at it. So, And then the no signal is across the body, no. And you can think of no questions for yourself. Should I eat sugar today? No. I've been off sugar just for a little while. So, no. At any rate, it's just hard, should I exercise today? I'm getting a yes. Have I already exercised? Yes. Should I exercise more? Yes. I was hoping that was a no. Anyway, that is the signal. And, you can also, I believe I have a video on my website that also at joanrosestaffen.com that has the meditation in it, and it also teaches you how to do yes, no. So if you're having problems with it. Are there any questions right now?
No, there's just there are a few more goods with the yes, no, and there was a comment that from someone that says, I think most of us are more practiced dowsers, so
Okay,
it
that's
sounds like
great.
we can continue.
Okay, great. And then the last signal on this chart. But if I have important questions to ask, I will use a chart just to give myself some distance from the answer. So so you can use it when you want to just check your intuition too. And for clearing, the clearing signal is going around in a circle. And so when you are clearing, it goes around in a circle, and when it stops, you are done. Sometimes when I have asked for clearing for something, it goes backwards. And I always think of backwards is deeper cleaning. Something really needed deeper cleaning. So it'll go backwards for a little while, but then it should go forward in a circle, okay? Or clockwise. Alrighty, and how are we doing with that? Has everyone's got the idea
I
of
think
centering?
so, yeah. And
Okay, great. So let's turn the page, and we're going to clearing needed. I've always loved this chart because it can instantly tell you what needs clearing in your life. So at one point, as I mentioned, I have a business. I still have a business, but it's more of a new age business today. So does the business need clearing? Cars, it's great to clear cars. I don't know about the rest of you, but I talk to my car sometime, and I always tell my car how well it's doing because I want it to go places. But I have cleared cars. Like sometimes once in a while, you'll find your car needs clearing. Maybe you had a mechanic who was having a bad day and he worked on your car, or even you had some people who were, had some negative energy who were in your car. You want to clear your car and we spend a lot of time in our cars. And especially like if you're commuting to work and maybe you were a little upset at the traffic jam, you want to clear your car. And when I give classes, like before I started this class, I actually cleared the people in the class, wherever you were energetically in the United States. When I would teach a range of classes from Artist Way to working with the pendulum, healing classes, and etc. So if you're a teacher, it's really important to clear the class, the classroom, the students, so that the energy will just flow. Family members, I have sisters, and they are always asking me they call and can you clear me? If your friends are having a bad day, you can clear them. Soon, after you learn how to do this, people will be calling you. Galleries and stores, you think about the flow of people going in and out of stores and leaving their energy. Really important for store owners to know how to do that. Of course, groups, and then our own home. I just want to talk a little bit more about this. In our own homes, it's really important. When one time I had a friend who was going to move in with me, but he sounds terrible, but he brought all these boxes with him, and they were like old family pictures. And I mean, like, I didn't know much about his family, but that box definitely his boxes needed clearing because of the negative energy of his family, which was really kind of sad. You can, oftentimes people put, they just put things outside and they put them into their garages, maybe old family things, old furniture, old sofas. Well, a lot of that stuff really needs clearing. And if you have a piece of furniture that is badly infected, like an old couch, like once I did a clearing on a gal, and she had lots of roommates, and it was a house, UCSC students, and they moved in and out. But there was a couch where nobody ever sat in the front porch. And turned out it was totally infected and discarnates energy and all sorts of things. So sometimes it's just better to get rid of things and not put them in your garage, So you have to just know that. Of course, at this conference, we have a lot of experts on land, and I'm not an expert on land, but I'll just mention that I moved into the tannery. So the property where I'm living was once a tannery, and it was, of course, rebuilt, and they're brand new buildings and everything. But there had, there was a lot of, deep, animal sadness on the property. So when I moved in, I cleared the property and the energy, and, I actually, I don't know if you can see this, but I bought this crystal wand at a dowsing conference, and I found out the use of it was to create like positive energy vortexes. So I cleared the property, and then with the help of the angels of light and love and Jesus and Mary, I brought in positive healing energy for every part of the land here. So I did dowsing ceremony with myself when I moved in here. Objects need clearing, rooms often need clearing. You have a rough day and you accidentally bring home a discarnate, your room might need clearing. If you move, your whole house, the house you're moving into might need clearing, every room. You can use a chart. You can create a little map of your new house from a bird's eye view, and you can check with your pendulum. Or you can just walk around your house or the property, and the pendulum will tell you where you'll find that negative energy. When I've done in-person clearings on land or property or houses, sometimes I have the other person they hold a candle, I hold the pendulum, we clear, and at the same time we're clearing, we're bringing in the positive energy, and we say prayers afterwards for the property, the house. It was really funny because this one time I was clearing a house and the property, and it turned out the discarnate had, it was on Old San Jose Highway. It was in the Santa Cruz little bit in the Santa Cruz mountains, and someone had a still up there, and it was the person who, the energy that was stuck was a person who was a discarnate, and they were still energetically making their alcohol, or they were hoping to, and they were bothering the new resident. And so I have a lot of experience in 12-step programs. So I was able to talk to this man and tell him that all would be forgiven, that there was should have no fear of, leaving the earth, that he was going to a brighter place. He was a little resistant, but we called in Archangel Michael, who you might want to have as one of your spirit guides, and he really helped us. And then, of course, it also on this chart, which I think you're going to find really handy, you have the body, the emotions, the mind, and the spirit. So hopefully while you're listening to me, you're practicing so you can check and see if anything needs clearing. And I, often the answer I get often is, oh gosh, let's see.
You can just hit the view right here. Go back here.
View?
The view.
Full screen?
Oh no, there you go.
There we go. Sorry, I had a little technical issue there. So you can check. The one I get a lot is that I need to clear myself spiritually. And I'm like, and I see myself as, as being a dowser and an intuitive and a psychic and a coach. And yes, I need to be spiritually clear. So check yourself. And I know we're going through this quickly. The next chart is the chakra chart. And we did a chakra clearing. There we go. We did a chakra clearing, and you can check this and see if anything needs clearing. And for some reason, I'm getting my hands need clearing. So I'm going to clear my hands. I'm going to ask in the name and through the power for clearing. How about you, Rika? What do you get?
I'm checking right now so far. I'm asking if anything is clearing. Oh, my throat.
Throat?
Yeah.
Throat?
It was with the other,
Other.
whatever that is.
Other. Well,
There's a
the
lot of
other
chakras.
button, the other is very important to know because according to Eastern medicine, we have chakras all over our bodies, and those are akin to acupressure points or acupuncture points. And so if you get the other, you can also kind of scan your body and see where the energy is that needs clearing. And it's kind of fun. Or if you want, you can basically just say, please just clear anything else that needs clearing.
Will it start going in a circle or yes?
Yeah, you'll get a little circle. Yeah.
I'm clearing my crown now.
Okay. And Rika's clearing her crown. So you can see this chart is really handy. It's great to do in the morning, in your spiritual time, your meditation time. That way you start off the day totally clear and in alignment, and you'll really find your day goes well. Another time to clear is before you go to bed, and you'll be amazed at your dreams. So it's kind of,
I'm gonna try that.
yeah,
I've
it's
been
really
having some
fun.
very strange dreams.
Right. How are people doing with clearing?
There
Rika?
hasn't been any new information in the chat, so I think
Okay.
everyone's
practicing,
Yeah,
huh?
it's great.
Okay. And so we'll go ahead and go to the next chart. And this goes into your house clearing, your property clearing. So you can see this is handy instead of you having to walk around your house, you can actually use the chart and find out where the energy is stuck. And how, what are you getting anything?
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
I've been going from each one to each one asking
yeah.
a yes, no
Oh, yeah.
question, but do you also
Oh, I'm
sometimes
so
move
sorry.
around?
Oh, I'm sorry. You put it in the center of
Oh,
the
okay.
chart.
Try.
me see
And
where
the
it stands.
triangle or the bullseye,
Okay.
as Tess says, and then the pendulum will move to the word.
Oh.
And then you check, you can double check. And if there's energy there, then you basically are able to clear that room.
Oh, that's
I'm getting
that's
house.
much simpler.
House?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm clearing the hallway, which I don't know if
Okay.
it's our hallway
Our hallway?
or
Yes,
my
probably.
hallway. Probably both.
Okay.
Really
And okay, great. So you get the idea, and again, you can draw a bird's eye view of your house and also do map dowsing and figure out where the stuck energy is. Sometimes it's really good to clean out old papers, and especially old bills or anything that was traumatic, like, you know, papers from lawyers you no longer need anymore. You know, anything that, because everything holds energy. So the lighter and the more cleared out things are, then, you know, the happier your house will be. And also when you clear out, like say old papers, or you clear out your closet or anything like that, you totally bring in happy, clear energy, and you totally lift your vibration in your life. So don't forget to do that. Alrighty, let's go ahead. I will just say that sometimes, like I had a friend whose dogs were barking all the time, and she couldn't get them to stop barking outside. And it turned out there was a discarnate in the garage. So you have to make sure, you know, you check your whole property. And sometimes we might have our whole house clean, but maybe the garage is a real mess. So you need to actually clear your garage too, okay? Any outbuildings. So the next chart is energetic disturbances. So this chart can actually tell you what the problems were and what needs clearing. So cosmic energy, I'm starting on the left side. Cosmic energy, of course, is radiated from the sun, and we have sunspots, and we have all sorts of things out there. So sometimes the problem is cosmic energy. The second thing here is the earthbound spirits, or what I also call discarnates. We have electromagnetic fields that are not good for you. And I know that there's some dowsers here who are really helpful with, they are experts in this, and geopathic stress. Trauma may have happened to the land. Sometimes there's just a low energy spot. Sometimes it's memories. Sometimes it's negative intent. You know, people's, I think they used to call them curses. You know, everywhere people go, they leave energy. So it's just really good to clear energy. And of course, in today's world, we have a lot of technical interference. It might be Wi-Fi, it might be, you might be close to some sort of electricity. It's really good to check your house and make sure that everything's in harmony. And you may have to call an expert about this. I am not that expert, but other people who you'll meet at this conference are. But even if you do a simple clearing of your house and any trauma that might have happened in your house, like even when I cleared people's houses, even if you have a fight with your significant other, it's really, like say in the kitchen, it's really good to clear that energy. And if there's a fight outside your house, it's great to clear that energy. And just because we are so, we're like living in an energy soup. And so if you can remember that and you feel a little bit off, clear your space, your own body, clear the land and the property. And then, of course, I always love to bring in the blessings, the spirit blessings into a home. I love crystals. I have crystals in the corners of the house to lift the energy. And you can use the colors of the crystals. You can use color to lift the energy and make it more harmonious. And the one thing, that's on the next chart. But I know that we're getting short of time, but I would really, if I were you, I'd investigate this a lot, and especially with the dowsers who are so well trained at this conference. The last chart, and we're doing pretty good, it's 11:52. The last chart is tools for clearing. So number one, we have been using the pendulum for clearing, and these are the other tools. Okay, so on this chart, I have the angels of light and love. I call them the angels of light and love. But, it's like when I was going through a difficult time with my husband, and he was, basically dying of cancer. I was, of course, it was just the hardest time in my life, and obviously the hardest time in his life too. And so I just called in the angels all the time. I asked them to hold me, to take care of me, to hold my husband, to heal my husband, for all of that. So I just totally believe in angels and using angel healing. From the gate, the angels told me that my husband would be passing away. So we had a year and a half of, fighting the cancer, but they were always really honest with me. And in my morning journaling with the angels, they told me that he would pass, but that they would do everything to bring in miracles and to comfort our family and friends, and to help my late husband, James. So I definitely calling the angels, to your house, and the other, like for my classes, I call in the angels. I live in a loft, and so I have, there's actually a place above my couch where the angels can come and sit. And so before this, yeah, I have a perch for my angels. And so whenever I'm like nervous, I'm like, I say, angels, are you here? And they're like, we're here. We're totally here, and then I can, in my mind's eye, I see them sitting all around me. It's so funny. And then I always feel a little bit bad about not trusting that they're actually here. So, and then I always hopefully remember to thank them, because they really lift the energy. And you can ask the angels also to sit on your house and protect your house. And after my husband died, I was alone in a house between somewhat questionable parks up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And I always ask the angels to protect our house and my children, of course, our children. So some of the other things you can do is you can chant, you can declutter. I believe in emptying the trash once a day as often as possible, because that will lift your energy of your house. What is not on this chart, but that you might want to put in that I forgot, was feng shui. I think that's very effective. Music, paintings, prayers, sage. And you might have a couple other things you want to add to this chart to keep your house and your life just wonderful. Flowers, things like that. So, at any rate, it's really been a pleasure to work with everyone today. I want to thank Lynn, yay, and Tick, and Happy's here. She's my support, and Rika. Rika, you just see her hand, but Rika's so cute. You got to see how cute Rika is.
I dressed up for
Yeah,
Joan.
she's next door neighbor. So we've been here in California. So I am just going to ask Rika, are there any questions?
There's no new questions, but there's
Okay.
some interesting. Oh, here we go. Let's see. There's some observations. Would you like me to share
Okay,
them? 'Cause
sure.
I'm not sure if everybody reads the chat when you kind of get into the clearing. Sometimes you forget to look up. So I'm going to share Juan Pablo Murphy shared. Per Edgar Casey and the Eastern Masters, the 6th chakra is the crown and the 7th is the 3rd eye. This follows the path of the Kundalini energy from root chakra up the spine to the top of the head onto the 3rd eye. In ancient Egypt, the pharaohs represented this order with the cobra snake, whose head ended at the 3rd eye.
Oh, that's
Which is
very
really
interesting.
cool. So thanks,
Yeah.
Juan.
Yeah.
And then
Interesting.
Mike Wanner, so I'm sorry, Mike, observed that the house was clear, but when I said the garage, the pendulum took off like a hovercraft. Thank you. The garage was rented out. That's really a great observation.
Ooh.
And Patricia shares that she's, I call upon the angels all the time. They're here and it makes all the difference.
Yes.
And then Tick added a evaluation at the bottom. So please feel free to share your observation and your thoughts about this presentation.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, and there's music tonight.
Oh,
Eileen, oh no, sorry. Eileen McCusick tonight at 7:30. So that's a reminder from Tick.
Okay.
So check the
great.
chat, everyone.
Well, I'll say one more thing. Again, my name is Joan Rose Staffen. You can find my books. Let's see.
I'll
Where's
put your
the
website
book?
again.
And we have books. Yeah, Happy's my book person. We have books, Divination and Joy, and Divination and Joy, Divination and Action. And this is my latest, the book of Pendulum Healing. I'm really excited. I have a book coming out next year, The Creative Pendulum. So for those who want to learn how to work with spirit and art and open themselves to creativity. You can see more about me at joanrosestaffen.com.
Okay, there's one final question.
Yes.
Sorry. Ellen asks, can you use the pendulum to find what needs clearing? Can it actually help you do the clearing, or do you ask the angels to do the clearing?
Well, I always say, I always kind of say we do the clearing, myself and the angels or your spirit guides, but we are the human facilitators to the angels or to the spirit guides, because we cannot, they cannot interfere with our free will, so we have to ask them. And so when I'm saying I'm doing the clearing, I'm really saying we are doing the clearing, and it is the spirit guides and the angels doing the actual clearing. And the pendulum is a tool so that we can communicate with angels and spirit guides, and we can communicate with our own intuition and our own knowing and our inner wisdom. So it is like a pen. That's how I think about it. When you think about how powerful writing is, because of the invention of the pen and pencil, it's, to me, the pendulum is as powerful. It connects you to your spirit and to your own intuition and your own inner guidance. And that is so necessary in today's world. Thank you. I want blessings to my helpers.
And blessings to helpers.
Thank you, and thank you so much,
Thanks, Joan.
Lynn and Tick and all the organizers of the conference. Appreciate you all.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Mhm.